Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the start of a very new Pokemon series. This is Let's Play Pokemon Soul Silver. I apologize in advance. I'm not sure how this video is even going to appear on YouTube. It's probably going to be very odd compared to my other Pokemon Let's Plays, just because it is a DS game and I had to emulate it, so the screen looks a little bizarre. I'm going to see what I can do about that in the future. Maybe get some white borders on there or something like that. And maybe we'll load our team layout on the right, or maybe have some interesting stuff on the sides there. But for right now, this first episode is going to be shot up and down. I'm hoping that it looks good enough, and maybe we'll just use this for like the format of this series. But we'll see how it looks once we post it. Like I said, it's my first time using a DS emulator. Wasn't quite sure how the screen was going to appear, and yeah, it's just a little bit bizarre to me to see at a first glance, but I'm hoping all appears well on YouTube and there's not too many like, man, why does it look so weird? But right now we're just in the introductory state, and that's all this episode is going to be here, just like the intro as always. So we're just naming our character, getting our first Pokemon, and meeting our rival. That will be all the stuff we take care of here tonight. So that should be some pretty fun stuff. Yeah, it should be pretty interesting stuff to deal with. And here we are. We have started our wonderful world of Pokemon. I'm gonna stand here for like a minute or two just because I was reading through a message on my phone. Yeah, nothing major, but a slow start to the new series. What could you expect? Nothing more from Average Joe. I did want to go and cut this from the actual video itself, but completely forgot to do that. So now here we are, watching Average Joe stand here for a minute. Let's check out the computer. Sometimes there's some fun stuff on the computer. We have an email. It's just like, adventure, excited, I love Pokemon. Okay. Cool news. And there is mi madre. Finally awake. My friend was here. They're playing hide and seek with Marill. I don't know what that Pokemon's called. I think it's Marill. But I've never been a huge fan of it. And now we get a whole bunch of items in our bottom section here, which is going to be pretty interesting. Like on the DS it made sense because there were two separate screens, but now I'm kind of dealing with one screen, so it's going to be a bit confusing as to how we navigate these things. And I don't even know if this is going to save, ladies and gentlemen. You know, that's all part of like the emulation stuff. Like, are things going to save the way that they're supposed to? Are things going to look okay? Are things going to be messed up? We have no idea, because this is our first time filming a video like this, so we shall see. But like I said, this is really like the introductory episode. She tells us to go next door, speak to the professor. Oh, I'm getting tired. So that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go next door and speak to the professor himself. Here he is, Professor Elm. Just actually, if you remember from our last Let's Play, Professor Oak is the first Pokemon professor we meet. Professor Elm is the second in the series we are introduced to. So they're all named after trees for a while in this series, up until Pokemon Scarlet. I think that's the first Pokemon game that didn't have a professor named after a tree. So, cool little tidbit there. But since we have to take this thing to Mr. Pokemon, we have to go and pick out ourselves a Pokemon to take with us. We could take this Pokemon with us and he will protect us on our way there. I already, in the back of my mind, picked out a starter. I know anybody who's said a starter I should pick has said Cyndaquil. I'm not sure if that's a regular Chikorita or a shiny one. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't know what the shiny Pokemon really look like. But I am going to go with Totodile as my pick, just because anybody who's looked at it has said Cyndaquil all the way, and I agree with you, but here's the problem. I have had Cyndaquil as my starter for many games, like back to back to back to back, every time I played through this game, so I wanted to pick a different type of Pokemon, so I'm going to go with Totodile here, and I'm going to name him after the late and great Gator. I try to go with an O. That probably would have made it funnier, like if I misspelled Gator. But I'm gonna spell Gator, G-A-T-E-R. Gator. I forget what movie Gator's from. It's, Will Ferrell plays a cop in it. Is it like the bad guys or the good guys, or... Oh man, what is the name of that movie? Let me search it up. I have to search it up. It's a really good movie. Let's see, Will Ferrell cop movie. The Other Guys. That is the name of that movie. That is such a good movie. See, I named him after Gator from that movie, who is Will Ferrell as a pimp in his younger days in college. He calls himself Gator. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's a great movie. But that's what we are naming our Totodile after, because he looks like a little alligator. And as he evolves, he becomes a really big, strong alligator. But it's just me and the dog here today, playing. They're going to force me to go and talk to my Madre here to go get a tool that I'll likely never use before I can progress. Because that's how Pokemon does it, right? Right, puppy girl? They make you go back and do things you don't want to do just for plot purposes. Now let's go and let's talk to this guy, the bad guy. Because even if you haven't played this game before, he comes across as, like, inherently bad. Yeah, you can see this lady stops us. She's like, wait, Average Joe. Wait a sec. She's like, did you leave your Pokegear at home? You should go ask your mom. Why I couldn't get that right out of the get-go, I don't know. Does this game hate me? Yes. Yes is what I think. No, it's just the game pads itself. It's going to be a big problem as we approach mid-late game here. The game... So in the first game, there's a lot of... You could explore the gyms at whatever level you want to, right? But there is a scale to the gym. There is a recommended way that you go through because they do scale accordingly. In this game, you're going to see there's like 2 branches we could take at one point in time, and the scaling doesn't change regardless of what direction you go, which leads like to the biggest level gap you've ever seen. Like, it's like maybe like 10 to 15 levels between the last gym leaders and the first big one that you have to go up against later in the game. It leads to like a whole slew of problems to like why this game... You'll constantly hear, if you hear people bring up this game, they'll say the scaling is just really bizarre, like the game didn't know how to handle it well and it did a piss poor job, and that's exactly the reason that they bring it up. Like, I played through this game enough, I know. But here we go. Outside of the starters, we're getting a look at our first Generation 2 Pokemon, a Sentret. And he's just like a little raccoon little guy. Nothing too fancy about him. He's your classic Route 1 kind of guy. He's doing some damage to my Gator. Oh, we got a critical hit. Are you kidding me? Right out of the gate. I need my Gator to be strong. A Gator. Gator's only level 5 now. It'll be interesting to see because this game, like I said, the level curving happens later in the game, but there's actually a pretty big stretch of area that you have to go through to reach Mr. Pokemon on this quest. So, like, before we even battle our rival for the first time, we're gonna have a pretty substantial jump in level on Gator. Like, he's gonna be... If I was to... He'll be around level 10 by the time we come back into town. Which, in comparison, in Kanto, when we took Eevee and went to... whatever, where we had to deliver the mail... Maybe we had like 2 to 3 encounters at max on the trip there. Maybe Eevee leveled up 2 levels, maybe 3, so maybe it was 5, 6, 7, 8 at the most. And I think we're going to be close to like 9 or 10 here. Like, it's going to be pretty big. Now, one thing we don't get here, number one, we can't catch Pokemon right away, which kind of stinks, because I do see the first Pokemon that I want to get, not on this route, but a little bit later. The other element of it that's kind of a bummer this early in the game is, yeah, we don't have, like how we had in Let's Go Eevee, which I've become very used to. We have the level sharing. We don't have that here. So, the Pokemon needs to fight to get experience points, and that's the only way they're going to get it. So, there is more grinding that needs to be done. Which kind of stinks, because I've gotten used to not relying on that in the last Pokemon games. But we will deal with it. And you can see there, I had to use the bottom screen, so I have to use my mouse and manually do that. Not a huge deal, and I'm sure there are keyboard commands that I could use to go and do that as well, but I really don't want to take the time to learn it. Plus, if you've ever played games like this, you know, when they get ported, they don't particularly come with an instruction manual, because it's not the way that Nintendo intended for you to play the game. So, it's okay, but it's just one of those things that happens. You know, you have to prepare for it, have to work around it. I'm just hoping, like I said, I'm hoping that this game does a good job at remembering where I'm at as I play through it, and I can reference those save states. Because I'm actually doing, yeah, I have like an actual DS emulator and I'm playing it on there. But if that works out, that will be really good news, because hopefully I can link that to like my actual Xbox controller, and maybe then we could play New Super Mario Bros. As well, which would be a really fun Let's Play to do. I don't know, I want to do something really exciting, because I feel like our subscriber count right now is at 41, and I want to do something exciting for 50 subscribers, because that seems like it would be really fun to do. And it seems like something that, like, honestly, I mean, to have 50 subscribers to myself is a big deal. I know to others that's like nothing, but coming from someone who's had like 10 to 15 for like the better part of a year, like that is a pretty big jump in subscriber count, and it's all been in like the past couple months. So I really do appreciate each and every one of you watching these videos and really contributing to the amount of subscribers that are up there. It is a world of difference to where I was like a year ago. And I know the channel's had its times. There's been like a week or two where, you know, videos didn't come out when they were supposed to or things like that, but I feel like we're on a good path now. There's been a lot of progress. This time of year is usually like my slower time of year in terms of like work and things that I'm doing outside of work, even though it's summer. I know that sounds like odd, but it's true. So yeah, I would prepare to continue to see, you know, things to stick to schedule here. I feel like I've made it pretty flexible on myself, at least for the time being. So yeah, continue to look out for stuff like that. Oh, did this guy take the wrong path? Yeah, so there's no way up on this path. You can't actually go up. You come here at the end of the game, essentially, just so you can come back and do whatever. But another big shot to reality here is we're going to have to go back to teaching our Pokemon hidden moves and technical moves, and only having one copy of the technical move versus being able to teach it to everybody. So that was a big part of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee that I really played upon, was like, when we got a TM, we could just teach it to as many Pokemon as many times as we wanted, and it didn't make a difference. Now we're only going to get one copy of them, so we want to be careful about how we utilize them. That, and this one has the unique advantage, like, we saw the gyms we battled against in Let's Go Eevee. This game specifically tried to introduce Pokemon gyms that did not fit that mold. So we will not see a fire-type gym, a water-type gym, a psychic gym. Like, none of those gyms exist in this game. A rock-type gym. Like, all the classical gyms you're used to seeing, they're not going to be here. It's all going to be some pretty unique stuff to this game. That and the region itself is less city-like, I would say, and more, I don't want to say rural, but like small country. Yeah, but that is rural. It's so hard to describe, but you'll get it as we get further into the Let's Play. This region to me is like one of the most unique. I know people in the past have asked me, you know, what is your favorite Pokemon game / region? And Johto is always close to the top of the list. I know Silver and Gold, Crystal are always at the very top, solely because they are, right, it is, I would say, I like them just because, you know, we do get to go back and visit Kanto at the end of these games, which is always exciting. But on top of that, like, the Johto region itself is very fun to explore. There's a lot of little nuanced things that occur here and only here. And because of that, it tends to be my favorite region to explore of all time. It's just so cool. It feels, I almost want to say peaceful compared to the other games. So there's not a whole lot going on. There's a lot of just little pieces here and there, and just, it's nice. It's a nice touch on the series, which, in full transparency, right, they expected this game to be the last Pokemon game ever made. They were expecting that Gold, Silver, and Crystal were going to be the finale of the series. They expected only to get 2 games out of this, 2 generations. So, it is really exciting to see, like, they really take it this far in this game. They really go back and they revisit the Kanto region, do a whole bunch of stuff, because they really wanted all those stories to kind of mesh and finish here. And I think that it holds true to the story. Like, the story holds intact for what it is. It's, like I said, personally, probably my favorite addition to the series. If it's not my favorite, it's in the top 3. That's for sure. And that was I believe I was really, really young when the first Pokemon game came out. Almost like too young to play it. I definitely did play it, but like, I played it because it was handed down from one of my older siblings. But this was the first one that, like, I remember actually going and purchasing new in the old GameStop and playing it on many car rides and things like that, and having a ton of fun with it, and just really exploring this world. This was like one of, like, my personal favorite games when it came out. Of course, not this version. This version came out on the DS, and I think at this point in time I had given up on the series. But I took a long break and eventually decided to come back. But yeah, I think the original Gold and Silver, Pokemon Gold was what I owned. And I think that was one of the first very games that I bought on the old Game Boy. That and Super Mario Land, which we will be playing later this year. I can't wait to play that game. That game is... whew. I mean, it only takes... I'm probably going to beat it in a weekend and stretch it throughout a month. We'll split it up into like a couple episodes. It'll just be like 3 or 4 episodes. But man, it is really cool. We'll be playing that. I think it's the month before October. September? Yeah. So I think we'll be playing that through September. And we have another game planned in that month as well. That should be a short month. But that's because October is going to be packed full of a ton of episodes, because we'll be playing through the original Doom and Luigi's Mansion 3 and fitting them both into 1 month. So it's going to be a lot of videos. So that's why such a short game is being spread over such a long area of time, is because I really need to get all those videos ready to go. And on top of that, I'm kind of thinking about doing something on the Walking Dead series throughout October as well. I think that would be a ton of fun to do, but I'm just not sure what angle I want to take. But I have been really caught up in The Walking Dead lately, like that whole world, and I've been loving it a lot. It's a ton of fun, so we'll see where that goes. I highly doubt it, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And here's a Kakuna. It's been a while since we've seen a Kakuna. I mean, we saw it in the last game, but it's interesting to see him here on like the first couple routes of the game. Here we go, scaling up this way. And it is nice, it looks like it actually synced with my actual clock here because it is nighttime as I play through this. So it looks like that sync has carried over. I know in the old DS days it would, but... And if you noticed earlier, we couldn't get anything off that apricot tree because we did not have anything to store it. I think we do get the item to store them here, and we can make Pokeballs and some neat stuff out of it. I really don't take advantage of this inside of the game. Or the berries. I know a lot of people would say that that's sacrilege, that I should take advantage of it, but it's never been my cup of tea, honestly. It's not really all that valuable to myself. Although I'm gonna put this out there just because I played this. There's the Pokemon I want to catch. There he is. Look at that guy. I want to make a team of exclusively Generation 2 Pokemon this time around. I want no Gen 1 repeats. Regardless of how hard that makes this game on myself, that is my goal. Is to have all Generation 2 Pokemon, or at least Pokemon we haven't used in the last Let's Play. I know this is going to be sacrilege for all those out there watching, but I do not want the Abracadabra line on here. I want to go a different route. So, we'll see where that takes us. I'm sure wherever it is, we can make it work, but I know it's going to be quite the process to make that work. And for all those wondering who have seen these Let's Plays, will we be beating Red in this Let's Play / completing the Pokedex? Here are the answers. Will we be completing the Pokedex? No, we will not be completing the Pokedex. It takes far too much work on an outdated game, on an emulator, to do that. It's impossible. It's not impossible, but I mean, it's so hard that it's just not worth it. And then we approach question 2. Will we be beating Red? We will try. Wherever the game leads us off, whatever our stats look like at the end of the game, we will go and we will battle Red. Maybe once, maybe twice. Will we beat him? I don't know. It depends on how our team looks at that point in time. I highly doubt it, is my answer at this point in time. I've never beaten him before. I highly doubt we're going to do it here. Like I said, I don't even know if this game is going to save my data from today until the next time I go and play it. I'm hoping it does, but it might not. And it might for a little bit, and then if the power goes out, it might not sync up right, and we could have some problems. I've had tons of problems with Let's Plays on emulators before. It's why I wanted to stay away from them, but as we're going through the Pokemon series, I kind of need to approach them. So, that's just my, input as to what we're doing right now, but we'll see how that goes, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm hoping it takes us a while to get there. I'm hoping that this video just looks okay when it's uploaded, because the screen cut and things like that are going to be very bizarre. But we'll play it off. We'll see what we can do. Here we're getting a ton of EXP going up to see Mr. Pokemon. Man, this is getting crazy. And yeah, there's a bunch of Hoo-Hoots here that are level 4, so that strikes me as this is where I want to go and catch Hoo-Hoo. Because I think we see one a little bit later, but it's like a level 2. So we definitely want to catch him up here, so that way we don't have to do tons of grinding. Because that is a ton of fun. But the good news here, at least for myself, right, is that we already have a water type, which is going to cover a lot of the hidden moves that we need to teach our Pokemon. The bad news is, if you could think into the future here, the steel typing is a big deal in this game. We need a fire type to deal with it. and it's going to be a problem. But here's Mr. Pokemon. We finally reached him. He gives us an egg. A mystery egg to take Professor Elm. Thank you, good sir. Ooh. Excuse me. Had a sneeze there. But then here comes the man, the myth, the legend himself, Professor Oak. He's gonna give us the same old stuff that he always gives us. The Pokedex and telling ourselves to take care of our Pokemon. That's his goal in every game. He gives us the same message every time, and it never gets old, Professor Oak. We love you. We know what you're trying to do, and we're gonna do it. Ugh. Excuse me, my nose is all stuffed up. There we go. We're adding all that stuff to the menu. I really hope the saves do work here, because I think I could have a ton of fun with this Let's Play. This is my first time playing through this with the nice graphics, and I hope it tends to be a ton of fun. It's funny, like, both Let's Plays have, like, really odd circumstances with them. So Kingdom Hearts 2, like, my recorder of gameplays, when it goes from, like, system views, tends to not have, like, a great, is that accurate? That is accurate. Man, it really did pick up, like, close to around the time I was actually recording this. That's really interesting. But, like I was saying, yeah. So, like, this view is entirely different for me to work with because it's on an emulator. And then my Xbox is playing Kingdom Hearts 2 on that Let's Play. And what records my gameplay from that is, like, an HDMI to, like, a capture card to the computer screen into, like, a record from screenplay from this. It's all new territory for me because it's all new equipment that I have here, and sometimes it gets the quality perfect, sometimes not so much. This one I fear for a little bit less, the other one I fear for a little bit more, so we'll see how the quality of these two videos come out on Monday and Tuesday, and hopefully we can adjust quickly if any serious modifications need to be made. But we will cross that bridge when we get to it, folks. Let's get back. The professor said we need to get back there in a hurry, so let's get back there in a hurry. Here we are in the city. I don't think we need to heal up or anything like that. I know our rival's going to be right around the corner here. Here he is, the man himself. You got a Pokemon at the lab? What a waste. This guy's just being a jerk. There is a cool extended cutscene with him. I'll link that down in the video below when we get to that episode, because it's some post-game stuff that's, like, really cool that we won't be able to do because it was region specific, but it is pretty rad. And you could see he stole the Chikorita, which is another reason why I went with Gator, is because Chikorita is not an alarming foe to go against. Even fully evolved, it's not a strong Pokemon. Like, it's got some serious setbacks that really hold it back. But yeah, we're battling Chikorita at level 9. We have a 4-level advantage here, and even though it has a type advantage, it is an admittedly weak Pokemon. And on top of that, it doesn't know any grass-type moves right now, so we have no problem dealing with this Pokemon. We're already... Yeah, this is an easy... I mean, it took 2 health points away throughout that whole battle. And we leveled up. We're level 10. It's a pretty big jump, like, in the beginning of a Pokemon game. And it's right around where I want my Pokemon to be about level 15 before we approach the first gym. I think that's going to give us a good leeway. I think we'll have a team of 2 by then, which should help us out, but we shall see. But with that being said here, ladies and gentlemen, there is only about 2 to 3 minutes left of this Let's Play, so I do want to do my traditional outro, being as there is a little bit of hoopla that happens here. If you like this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. All that good stuff is greatly motivational to myself in continuing to make videos just like this now and in the near future. And it costs you nothing on your end, so it's really a win-win, right? No big deal on your end, and continues to motivate myself to make good, solid content. We'll be coming out with Let's Plays for this series on Tuesday and Thursday, and then every other week we'll be siphoning. So this week will be Tuesday, Thursday, next week will be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We'll be rotating that so that way we can finish this game up within the next, by the end of, what is it, January, February, March, April, May. So by the end of June, hopefully we'll be done with these 2 Let's Plays. If you're not a fan of this series and you're thinking, hey, I want to see something a little bit more recent or a little bit more action-packed, Average Joe, where do I go to check out that? Well, hey, check out the videos coming out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where we'll be taking down Kingdom Hearts 2. And maybe an occasional Sunday episode there if we have some time. It is a really long game, so I know both of these games are pretty long. I'm going to be dedicating a serious amount of time to the channel here within this month and next month, so you know, any extra like, comments, and things like that, I really do appreciate it, because it is going to be a big time sink. But here we have to give a name to our rival, and we are going to name him the Classic. He is the one and only, the man who always puts me down. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. This is YouTube. YouTube, you dog, you. Always knocking me down a peg, giving me those strikes and whatnot, or warnings telling me that I violated some criteria aspect, or some guideline community thing. Well, fuck you. But yeah, that's all we're going to cover in today's episode. Like I said, I hope you liked. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all here on the next episode coming out on Thursday. And maybe, if you're into Kingdom Hearts 2, maybe go and check that series out too as well. Like I said, we're sort of fine-tuning these 2 series at the time. It kind of takes 1 to 2 episodes to really cement, like, volume levels, audio quality, picture quality, and things like that. But hopefully everything looks good from the get-go, and there's not too much that needs to be changed. And hopefully this game, in particular, saves my progress, because I know emulators can be pretty picky with that kind of stuff. But until next time, guys, I hope you all are having a snazzy start to your week, and I hope you all continue to have an even snazzier week moving forward here. We'll see you all here on the next one, and everybody take it easy. Peace out, Girl Scout.
You